Hey, what's going on, Taco fam? So, as you saw in the community post, I played in my second Genesis tournament ever. It was cool. I went in not expecting too much. I wanted to just have some fun, but I did win this cool mat from a raffle, so it was awesome. I made 10th, so slightly out of top cut, but that's alright. Either way, still got the mat anyways. But I played pretty much my spellcaster pile. Everybody who knows me knows I love normal summoning Alistair, so I'll show y'all what I played. Really interesting deck. It was pretty fun. But for the monsters, we played 3 Alistair. He is your best normal summon, obviously, but this is Genesis, so at the same time, he's not that great because you can't link him off to get the attributes that you need, but a lot of times he combos well with other cards. And if you go second or if you get hand trapped, usually your opponent provides you with the attribute that you need. For the Genesys package, so 3 Spenta. Spenta was really good all day. Very good combo piece. And it does provide attributes that you need. And I use Spenta in a lot of combos. 2 Crowley. I thought this was awesome as well. Drawing multiples isn't the worst thing because on the field it counts as either name, and I do play some more generic-ish Genesys and Invoked fusion monsters, so it's pretty cool. Zoroa, I don't think you need more than one because the combos are a little bit weird because we don't have access to Artemis, but it's still good, and it's a level 4 tuner, which comes up. 1 Riliona. Same thing with this one. Since there's no Artemis, the combos can be a little bit weird, but she still comes up for a lot of the plays. And believe it or not, this card, Crowley, this was good as an extender. And believe it or not, most times this is one of the worst Genesys monsters to draw, but it was so many times where I would open Alistair, get the invocation, and then have this to make any attribute that I needed, and it also got bad cards out of my hand, which I'll show you in a little bit. So those are good as my main engine. Then for the other ones, I played 1 Witchcrafter, Jenny. If you didn't know, yes, she is a part of the lore for Alistair along with the Genesys, so she actually comes up. It's not the worst if you draw her because she is a win. We do play Raging, so you can summon it. But most times you do this with the Riliona combos. You don't really want to draw it too much because, like I said, there's no link monsters. And then for the best and worst cards in the deck are the 4 Charmer monsters. So initially when I built this deck, I built it with the level 4 familiar possessed monsters, but they are not Charmers. So you can either play the 3s or the 5s. If I was playing K9 cards, I would probably play the 5s. But even then, Ripper is still 30 points, so that's pretty hefty. But they suck to draw. But even if you do draw them, you can either fuse them off, and we do have a couple ways to discard them. But you need them for a lot of the combos. And then last monster is 1 Blue Boy, because we do play a small spellbook engine, and it's because of the Charmer monsters. So this is not the worst thing either as a normal summon, because there are quite a few extenders in this deck. So 4 hard normal summons, I guess. For the spells, 3 Meltdown, the original, you can't respond to my summon type cards. This is good for just getting Alistair and protecting your fusions. Then we also played 3 Invocation. So I do like this artwork, so I'm using it. But this does act as a regular poly, so even if you do draw a bunch of the bad cards, if you hard open this, you can fuse them off. So it's not bad. And then the other good card, so this card is also 3 additional Alistair. So this is Fusion Draft. So those who don't know, you discard a card and then reveal a fusion monster from your extra deck, which is cost. So you get the bad cards out of your hand. During resolution, you search from your deck or your graveyard any monster that's mentioned on that fusion monster. So typically we just added more Alistairs to the deck, basically. If we were playing normal monsters, it has a secondary effect where if you search a normal, you can search another copy of said normal monster except for the card that you discard. And you get locked into fusions for the rest of the turn. So you could do whatever you want before and then use this after. And then for the spellbook engine, 3 secrets, best one, because it starts all your plays. Then we have Spellbook of the Grand Circle. This is the Charmer card. This card is busted. If it wasn't for the fact that we had to play the bricky Charmer cards, like, that wouldn't be enough to want to play this. But honestly, this card changed my mind when you actually play it. It does suck when you do draw them, but like I said, there's ways to discard them. And this card could pick up 4 Charmers, have to be 4 specifically. So if you draw them in your opening hand, it's not that great. But if you fuse them off or discard them, this can add them from the deck, the graveyard, or the banish. So if you invocate any of them off and they get banished or whatever, this card could pick them back up. This card has a cool graveyard effect that also gives the fusion monster a meltdown effect where they can't respond. You banish it, and then you use Charmer or Familiar possessed monsters from your hand or field, and then you can make a fusion monster. And they can't respond or activate cards or effects on the fusion summon. So that's really cool. 2 knowledge, draw power, try to get some of the bad cards out of your hand. Worst case, if you have to normal summon a Charmer, you just have to use this, pray you don't draw any more Charmers, and then draw 2. And then, because I like this card, 2 Spellbook of Judgment. You don't need any more. We technically are only playing like 3 unique names. I was playing like 4 to 6 names prior, but I had to make some room. But for one of the cards in the deck, I kind of want to take out. But this is good as a starter. It can be a trap card, basically, because you set it and you can use it on your opponent's turn. It does count for their spells that they use too. So if you survive, you just fill your hand back up, and then you can special summon. And then I play 1 Lacrima of Light. This is a really great card that you want to use with Liliana. This is the only search target that we play for her. So even if we open her, it's fine. You don't really care. You just mainly use it for the dump effect. This is how you dump Jenny. You can dump Alistair if you open Invocation. You could dump any spellcaster or spell card. And then Jenny will copy the secondary effect, which will let you summon from hand or deck. So the utility of this card is really good. And then the last 3 cards is Super Poly. This card was trash. But overall, Super Poly is a good card, but it just didn't feel that great. You would think that it would be awesome because Alistair can fuse into any attribute if you play them. But it just felt like it wasn't that great. I would have rather it been something else. But as you see, there was no hand traps in this deck, so I at least needed something to defend myself with. So it wasn't the worst. Maybe it was just the luck of the draw today, but it wasn't the worst, I guess. So it's 40 in the main. So now we're going to go to the extra deck. So we play 2 Charmers of the Grand Circle. This card's really silly. I enjoy this card. So this gets effects based on the amount of Charmers with different attributes you use. That's why you play the 4, obviously, not just for the spell card. But half the time you do fuse them off. And this card is really good because it has 4 effects, and you can resolve them however many times you want based on the amount of the Charmers that you use. And one of the effects is gain 800. One card is bounce a card on the field, non-target. One effect is search the possessed spells and traps, which I don't main deck any. A spoiler. And then the other effect, which we mainly use a lot, is typically reborning spellcasters, and it does not target. The great thing about this card, when you summon it, your opponent can't respond, and you have to resolve each effect one at a time, all during the same window. But before choosing a different effect, you have to resolve the first one. So it does it all on summon. So a lot of my games, I would fuse off 3 to 4, and then use the bounce effect multiple times, so I was able to clear my opponent's boards before making real plays. So this card was actually insane. I did like the 2. Then 2, Macabre. I chose different arts intentionally because this one's not English. But Macabre outside of his chair. But this was good. It was just Omni Negate. Self-explanatory. This card is insane. Magistus Omega. I love this card. He gets an effect when he special summon where you could target a Fusion, Exceeds, or Synchro or Link in your graveyard and then one monster on the field and just banish them both. And then he also has another cool effect where if he's destroyed, battle or card effects, you summon a level 4 spellcaster from your deck and then equip him to that monster and it gives it 1,000. This is really good, as y'all seen in like Draco Tail decks, but this is a Invoked Magistus deck. So you can really take advantage of it. Summoning Crowley from the deck randomly, summoning Rilliona, summoning Zora, whichever ones you need. So I like this card. And it's good in a lot of combos, so it's important. I go 80s. I like this card still, even to this day. If he's summoned or if your opponent special summons a monster once per turn, you could just pop it. So you target a monster and then you blow it up. And then he has an effect where you could banish a fusion monster from your grave and he gains the attack of that fusion monster till the end of your opponent's next turn. So it's really good. Purgatory, everybody knows what this does. It goes attack, attack, attack. Pretty much win the game a lot of times. Because we're playing a couple water attributes, I do play Cocytus, and this is Genesys, so a lot of cards do target and do try to destroy, so this can't be destroyed or targeted, and he can attack while in defense. And it's not the worst either. It's a kind of a wall. Raging's good, obviously, because of the Charmers. It's a Book of Moon. It does come up sometimes because you can't link summon, so booking tuners, booking Exceeds materials or monsters trying to be overlaid or even Exceeds monsters themselves is really good. So it's kind of sucks against fusion decks, but it's okay. Chorozo, this card was really silly. I used the battle phase effect quite a few times, and a lot of the combos you contact fuse into this. So I honestly almost want to play a second one of this, and it's a level 4 tuner. Iwas, I summoned it a couple times today, stealing monsters and then using Iwas and other monsters to contact fuse to Chorozo, give them their monster back, and then blow it up or something. Rilliona, this was really good as well. I love using this card. Yes, it locks you into Magistus when you use it, but there are a couple plays where you use Alistair and Crowley, that's what I was talking about prior, where Alistair can get Invocation, then you could summon this from your hand, change the attribute, because she takes 2 different attributes, so it does come up, and he modulates his attribute, and he could banish and equip one from the grave to one of your Magistus monsters, so it's really good. And she does have like an imperm effect, so after you use her and you fuse her off, you can equip her again, and then she becomes an imperm. Conflagrant Calamity is really good. Everybody knows what this does. It's the floodgate monster of the deck and works in tandem with Omega, because you always summon this first for a lot of times to like clear board, and then if you did summon this first from the extra deck, you get to use his effect, pop this, summon it back, and then it'll trigger the Omega. So, pretty good. We have Verathragna. This card is really good. This is the monster negate of the deck, and you use this a lot in a lot of your combos. You summon this pretty quickly, a lot. Maybe 2 in the future, I don't know, but I think 1's okay. And then the last card, kind of the worst card, which is Garura. This is like the only real super poly target that doesn't use Alistair or any Magistus monsters, so I thought it was okay. It did lose me 1 game, but it was alright. And then for the side deck, I didn't really know what to side because I don't play Genesys that often, but I just went through the point system to see what was going to work with the deck, because this is exactly 100 points for the main and extra inside. But I did like 2 Book of the Law. This card was actually really silly. Yes, you can't search it, but beforehand, the reason why we never played this was because we couldn't really tag Macabre into anything like that. Like, that was really good because there was Aguades, but that's also a light. But now that we have Magistus Omega, it makes his negate even more insane. Or even if we have Raging to Book of Moon, even during battle phase, we can do it with Purgatrio or Aguades. So any of these, they can tag into one another, but now you can really like tag into something really good because this becomes a banish. So you can dodge stuff randomly throughout the battle phase as well. And if this does get killed, you get to just summon from your deck. So that's pretty cool. Then I also played some books. So this card was free, and yes, this card on paper kind of sucks. But because we played those bricks, the Charmer monsters, we can discard 2 and then target 2 monsters and flip them down. And this is a fusion deck, so we can use our stuff face down. And this is not bad for Alistair dodging stuff as well, because Alistair can get flipped face down, and then if I don't use it or it gets flipped back up, I get to search Invocation. So it comes up. And then 3 Book of Moon, because this is a slower type of format, and we can't link summon. So flipping things down is actually really good, especially when you go second. And even going first, a lot of times post side, regardless the matchup, unless it's like a fusion matchup, I typically always keep this card in. Enemy Controller, because this card is great going first and second, and it's a card that costs 0 points. So you can make yourself survive by switching the battle position of something. You could tribute one of your guys going second or whatever to like dodge hand traps and then take their monsters and then fuse with their monsters before you fuse with their graveyards. Share Ride, because this card also was free, and I don't really know what else that I wanted to play. And it's overall, it's not a bad card. It just, unfortunately, the problem of what am I actually going to draw into came up to me in my own mind, because I'm not playing Nib or anything. Because if your opponent understands that and knows that you don't really side those hand traps or play them, they will gladly play into this. Sure, I can draw a bunch of cards, but who cares if you're dead? 1 MST, because that's all I had on me. Don't flame me too bad, but I would probably play more because it is 0 points. Just hidden back row is really good. And then I play 1 Possessed Partnership. So whenever I know I'm going first, I can fusion summon into the Charmer link. And this is one of the Possessed Spell Traps I was telling you about. If I'm going first, I usually use one of the effects to search this card. And this card allows me to non-target summon a spellcaster with 15 defense from my hand or grave. And then if I have more than one of the same type, like multiple types, I get to just non-target pop a card. So it is pretty cool. But yes, that was my Genesys deck. Let me know what you guys think. I definitely will be making some changes. I would like to play Genesys a lot more at my locals. So hopefully you guys like that. Let me know what you think. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe.